You may be familiar with the F-35 aircraft, a stealthy attack aircraft that many Western militaries have high hopes for and have placed thousands of orders. However, the cost of the program to the US taxpayer is expected to be around $1.6 trillion, which is understandably seen as outrageous by many. To put it into perspective, a $6 trillion bill, if laid end to end, would reach from Earth to the Sun and 70% of the way back again. It's a staggering figure. But here's the interesting part. The F-35, also known as the Joint Strike Fighter, is not just one aircraft, but actually 4, or technically 3.5. I'm not exaggerating for attention, just a little bit maybe. The idea behind the Joint Strike Fighter program, which began in 1995, was to create one airframe that could perform 3 roles with minimal differences, saving billions of dollars by having common parts that make up at least 70% of the aircraft. It's a challenging task, but not impossible. For example, the newest F-15EX, also known as the Eagle II, shares over 70% of its parts with the regular F-15 Eagles from the 1970s. The FA-18 Super Hornet, despite being larger, heavier, and having more range than the legacy Hornet it replaced, still managed to share around 30% of its components with the regular Hornet. However, when the F-35 entered service in the mid-20s, the F-35A only shared about 20% of its components with the F-35B. In this video, we will explore the significant differences between the F-35 aircraft, the reasons behind these differences, and how these variations impact their capabilities. Let's delve into it. The JSF program was initiated in the 1990s with the aim of replacing various aircraft used by different branches of the US military, seeking to consolidate them into a single aircraft. In 2001, Lockheed Martin's X-35 was selected for the program over Boeing's X-32, which was not visually appealing. The F-35 had to possess versatility to match the capabilities of the 4 aircraft it was replacing. The Air Force required a cost-effective aircraft for air superiority and attacks, the Navy sought a reliable all-purpose aircraft for carrier operations, and the Marine Corps needed vertical takeoff capabilities for their assault ships. Additionally, stealthiness was a desired feature. Consequently, a significant amount of funding was invested in this project, which proved to be worthwhile. With international support and shared development costs, the F-35's unit cost is approximately $90 million, which is reasonable considering it is a 5th-generation stealth fighter and one of the most capable aircraft ever constructed. Now, let's discuss the Air Force's variant, the F-35A. It is the smallest, lightest, and fastest among the F-35, often referred to as the See-All model due to its ability to take off and land conventionally. Think of it as an upgraded and stealthier version of the F-16, with enhanced ground attack capabilities, second only to the F-22 in terms of air superiority. The F-35A is set to become the most widely used variant of the aircraft, as it has been chosen by the majority of countries for purchase. Unless there is a specific requirement for vertical takeoff, it is the most logical choice. Currently, it is being utilized by the US Air Force, Italy, Japan, Australia, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, and South Korea, with 6 other countries awaiting delivery. The F-35A serves as the standard model of the F-35, but Israel has developed its own version, known as the F-35-1, or Adir in Hebrew, which translates to awesome or mighty one. The F-35I is essentially an F-35A with modifications tailored by Israel, including unique electronic systems, sensors, countermeasures, and the ability to equip their own missiles, bombs, and jamming devices. The Israeli Defense Forces are even considering adding fuel tanks similar to those on their F-15 and F-16, as well as exploring the possibility of a 2-seat version. It is worth noting that Israel is the only country granted such freedom with the F-35, as other nations require explicit approval from the US for any alterations. Therefore, the F-35A can be described as a conventional takeoff and landing aircraft that is lightweight, mass-produced, and exported exported in large quantities. The F-35C is completely different. The C model is specifically built for aircraft carriers. There's a good reason why we hardly ever see carrier aircraft operating from land or vice versa, and that's because landing and taking off from an aircraft carrier requires specialized skills. The F-35A wouldn't be able to fly slow enough to safely land on an aircraft carrier. It would most likely stall due to insufficient lift from the air passing over its wings. Even if it somehow managed to land on the carrier, the A model's landing gear isn't designed for that type of landing and would probably fail. That's where the C model comes in. The F-35C is designed for catapult-assisted takeoff and arrested recovery. It was specifically created to operate from the Navy's massive Nimitz or Gerald R. Ford class carriers. To achieve this, the C model has a much larger wing, providing more lift and allowing it to remain controllable at low speeds. The wing area was increased by approximately 45%, resulting in a wingspan of 13.1 meters compared to the A model's 10.7 meters. However, this larger size isn't ideal for an aircraft carrier with limited storage space, so the F-35C also features folding wingtips. The C model is the biggest and heaviest variant, but it also has the longest range. The larger wings allow for carrying around 600 kilograms more fuel than the F-35A. Another significant difference is the landing gear, which has been significantly reinforced. The most noticeable change is in the front, where a larger two-wheel design replaces the single wheel found on the A and B models. These modifications do make the C model slower than the A, and it can only withstand maneuvers of up to 7.5 Gs, whereas the Air Force version can handle turns exceeding 9 Gs. These trade-offs are similar to the differences between the F-35 and the aircraft it was designed to replace. The Navy's F-18 is slower than the Air Force's F-16 and can handle fewer Gs, but it's larger, has better range, and of course is capable of operating from aircraft carriers. The F-35A, F-35I, and F-35C are quite impressive, but the F-35B, which belongs to the Marine Corps, stands out. It is a fifth-generation stealth fighter that has the unique ability to take off and land vertically. Although the B model shares similarities with the A models in appearance, it features a large hatch located behind the cockpit. This hatch houses a substantial lift fan, which, when the F-35B takes off vertically, opens up and directs the rear engine nozzle downwards, providing two powerful sources of vertical thrust. To maintain stability during this process, the aircraft has small roll control ducts in its wings. Once it reaches a sufficient altitude, the rear engine pivots back to a horizontal position. The roll control ducts are covered, and the lift fan is retracted. At this point, the F-35B can fly like a regular fixed-wing aircraft. This unique capability allows it to operate from various locations, such as forest clearings, parking lots, or even the deck of a smaller aircraft carrier or amphibious assault ship. Consequently, the F-35B enables navies to possess an advanced stealth fighter without requiring a large aircraft carrier equipped with a catapult system. However, there are some drawbacks. The F-35B is heavier than the F-35A, has a smaller fuel capacity, a shorter range, a reduced weapons payload, and a lower G limit of only 7 Gs. These limitations arise because the lift fan becomes dead weight once the aircraft is in normal flight, occupying space, adding weight, and diminishing the B model's aerodynamic efficiency. Nevertheless, this trade-off is deemed worthwhile, similar to the Harrier jump jets that preceded it. The UK employs the F-35B on their Queen Elizabeth class carriers, referring to them as the Joint Combat Aircraft, which is the official name for the program. The JCA program was associated with the Future Carrier Initiative, and both the F-35 and QE class carriers were specifically designed to seamlessly work together. The British operate the B model in a unique manner, utilizing a short takeoff vertical landing configuration that combines conventional and vertical takeoff with a ski jump to conserve fuel. Although there was an incident where one was mistakenly launched into the sea, they assure us that it will not occur again. This incident highlights the distinctiveness of the F-35, leading me to believe that they are entirely different aircraft. The fact that they only share 20% of their parts further supports this argument. While this video did not delve into all the details about the JSF or the actual differences between them, I hope you still gained some knowledge. If you desire more information, I highly recommend watching Real Engineering's videos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe for more content.